Well, it's pretty simple. This is how I'd go about it, right? If I wanted to buy a home right now, I would find corporate offices for major corporations that had opened in the last 2 years in a specific area, right? And then I would identify their employees and see who bought homes in that area in the last 2 years. And then I would offer to assume their current mortgage that's at like 2 or 3.5% before their equity goes underwater. It would help if those corporations recently had large layoffs. Those are the people I know who became realtors. I wouldn't trust with safety scissors. I know a couple people who are realtors that are pretty smart. They just they like the job. Some people like sales. I know people who are pretty successful in sales, and it's it's fun. You're a bottom feeder, and I love it. I mean, listen, you lost your job at the company that you moved for, and you bought a home. You might need some help out. Maybe it's not. Maybe it's more charitable than it sounds. Like it's still a win-win for both parties, right? Let's buy a large company with a large telework workforce, move the company to a new area, build hundreds of homes, then force everyone back into the office and sell them all of your houses. Okay, yeah, but I was thinking like with less than $20 billion. I've been gone for a while after blowing up my port. Back with a 30K loan. Round two fight. Should I post on our Wall Street bets? Oh Jesus Christ. Man, just look for income strategies that'll pay out more than the value of your interest. Like yield more than your current interest cost. Don't YOLO into stupid shit with a loan. Like if you got a good loan and like you got it from like a credit union or something and you got it under like the risk free rate, you can just make money off that money risk free, right? Like someone was telling me they got like a 3.5% personal loan the other day for like 50K. You can just make money. That's just free money on the risk free rate. That's free money. Why the would you YOLO it? I took out a 5K loan one time and bought options. I'm still paying that loan off. Fuck, that's rough. Yeah, don't do that. That's stupid. That's like over margining or over leveraging your margin. Sorry if you've answered, but I've been gone a lot today. No worries. Going into tomorrow, looking pretty bearish data wise. Are we looking for JPOW hopeful pump, straddle, strangle? I'm already strangled at 4,039.80. I think I like the strangle a little better in case there's continued hawkishness tomorrow. There's also the JOLTS report, which I expect to be negative, which means jobs up, right? More job openings. If both of those things are slightly negative, we definitely have more room to the downside. So I'm opting with the strangle over the straddle because I think there's less upside potential. Not so much that I'd be willing to go like 1 to 2. I still think there's some interest in at least freeing up some of the call interest around 40-30 still. So yeah, I still think 40-30 is like near the upper range for tomorrow, and then lower range, who the fuck knows. Powell already put a pretty decent amount of emphasis today on the jobs reports, and I don't expect any of them to show any softening in the labor markets. So yeah, I think overall tomorrow is pretty bearish, but I do want to have some calls to cover that small amount of upside potential, which we could see in the early part of the day. What's the least DTE I can strangle with overnight? Like 3 to 5. 3 is risky. 5 is better. And yeah, I know it's pricey. It's been 2 years, and your best educational video was what you uploaded last night. Bear bull, gap bull. Softening the labor markets, same like families out of work. Yeah, yeah. But that goes back to the thing I just said about home buying. My strangle's for the 17th, but it's expensive, so don't if you don't need that much theta. I'm just buying it because I can. Unsecured personal loan, 4 years at 9.99% APR. Not YOLOing anything this time, promise. All right. Jesus Christ. That's really high APR. Have you looked into anything with like sustainable dividends above 10%? If volatility spikes, QYLD and JEPI can be really, really profitable as you wait for like a market bottom, right? Because they sell calls, and so if IV is really high, they could make. You don't want to enter them in advance of IV jumping because the value of their share ownership would drop. But in like a market bottom type scenario, those could be really interesting. Ding ding. The day is done. Well, the end of the day, not as exciting as I would have hoped for. A little bit of sell off after the test at 39.95, which we kind of talked about earlier. Closing the day out at 39.85. I believe they were maintaining a bearish range on the SPX. We'll see how call interest looks going into tomorrow morning. I kind of just outlined my thoughts a couple minutes ago on, my overnight straddle. JPow's speech tomorrow is probably going to be in line with his speech today. I don't expect him to deviate strongly from the narrative put forth already. That narrative was a little more hawkish than I think people were expecting, and we're starting to see yields rise on a slight expectation of 0.5 BPS at the next Fed meeting 2 weeks from now. Puts are still relatively cheap on a VIX that's sub 20. We'll probably see continued accumulation of puts to the downside with more theta. But that doesn't mean that we won't see any upside push. There is a significant amount of call gamma locked up around the 40-30 strike right now, and we may see a pump in order for some of that to be relieved. So think of our current range from between 39.80 to 40.30. If Jolts comes in negative tomorrow, we may slip the lower bound. And that really puts us down into the range of like 39.50 again, maybe even sub 39.50. Remember, as we fall, gamma at the money increases, so we'll have a better idea as we move towards positioning in those lower ranges. Yeah, you don't want Jeppy now, though, F1. You'd want to wait until there's, like, a big spike in volatility, and then you'd enter Jeppy so you can yield off the near-term profitability of selling CCs in a high volatility environment. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. I appreciate it. I will see you all tomorrow morning. Have a great night, everybody. Later.